Welcome to another lecture on engineering mechanics. Today we will see the concept of centroid and center of gravity. We will see their definitions and their applications. So let us start the lecture. If we have to define centroid of an area, we can say it refers to a point in or outside an area at which the whole area may be assumed to be concentrated. Or we can say it is the center of an area. Now let us see what is the center of gravity. It is the point at which the resultant gravitational force acts on the body irrespective of the orientation of the body. You have played this kind of toy in your childhood, and over here you can see this is the perfect example of center of gravity. The whole weight of the toy is balanced at a single point. It can also lie outside the body like centroids. So few examples are horseshoe and donut. So you can see in case of horseshoe, centroid or center of gravity will lie somewhere over here, which is outside the body. Similarly for donut, the centroid will lie exactly at the center, which is again outside the body. So let us see what is the concept of center of gravity. We know that every body consists of small elements and or we can say small particles, and the gravitational force of attraction because of earth acts on each particle of the body, and that force is concentrated towards the mass center of the earth. Now we assume that as the size of the body is very small as compared to the size of earth, so we can assume that these gravitational force of attractions are parallel to each other because of the huge distance between the mass center of the earth and the particles of the body. So if we can assume that these gravitational force of attractions are parallel to each other, then we can add these forces to find their resultant. So the resultant gravitational force which acts at a particular point on the body, that point is called as center of gravity of the body. Now if we talk about real life applications of centroid or center of gravity, then we can say it helps a lot in many engineering applications and construction applications when we have to design things in order to minimize the stress and energy used to stabilize a component. Location of centroid of an area. The centroid of an area always lies on an axis of symmetry if any of the area. When two axes of symmetry intersects, they give centroid of that area. Let us understand this term through an example. So over here we have a rectangular area, and we know that this rectangular area possesses axis of symmetry. So one axis of symmetry is drawn over here. So we can say that upper half of this rectangular area is symmetric to the lower half of the rectangular area. So this axis divides this rectangular area into two equal halves. So we can say this is axis of symmetry. So if we have to locate the centroid of an area, we can say that centroid will lie somewhere on axis of symmetry. But if we have two axes of symmetry for a particular area, then the intersection of those two axes of symmetry will give us the centroid of that particular area. Then second method to locate the centroid of an area is the analytical method. So let us see in brief what is that method. Suppose we have an area and this is the centroid of this area, and suppose that the complete area is concentrated at this particular point, and in order to find the centroid of this area, we have to consider reference planes. So we have considered x-axis, y-axis, and this is the origin of that reference plane. And in order to define the centroid of this area, we have to talk about two coordinates. Means we have to talk about at what distance this centroid lies from y-axis, that is called as x bar, and at what distance this centroid lies from x-axis, so that will be called as y bar. In order to find these two, x bar and y bar, we can say that take moment of area about y-axis. So if I have to take moment of area about y-axis, we can say it is equal to area into the distance of that area from the y-axis, that is labeled over here as x bar. So moment of area about y-axis will be a multiplied by its distance from y-axis, that is x bar. Similarly, if we have to find the moment of area about x-axis, we can say moment of area about x-axis is equal to area multiplied by its distance from x-axis, that is over here is labeled as y bar. Now next we can say that that particular area is divided into n number of areas, or we can say that this area is made up of n number of small areas, and we can say that moment of this whole area about y-axis can be written equal to the sum of the moments of all the small areas about the same y-axis. So over here we have written a dot x bar equal to a1 dot x1, where x1 is the distance of, let us say, area a1. Let us say this is area a1. The distance of area a1 from y-axis is, let us say, x1. So if we multiply the area a1 with the x1, that will be the moment of area a1 about y-axis. So if you have to find the moment of whole area about y-axis, we can say it is equal to the sum of the moments of all the small areas about the same axis. So we got this equation. Then similarly we can say if we want to find out the moment of area about x-axis, that will be equal to the sum of the moments of the small areas about the same axis. So from that we got this particular equation where y1 y2 represents the distance of area a1 a2 from x-axis, and we have done this for all the areas, that is n number of areas. So from these two equations we can say that x bar is equal to this equation divided by the total area. So this particular formula will help us to find the coordinate of the centroid of this area, that is x bar. Similarly, if we will divide this equation by the total area, we will get the y bar, that will be the coordinate of the centroid from x-axis. So these two formulas will help us to find the centroid of any particular area with respect to given axis. Now let us understand these two formulas through one example. So suppose we are given this area, this composite area, and we have to find its centroid, let us say with respect to these two axes given to us. Assume that this is the centroid of this composite area, and let us say the coordinates of this centroid are x bar and y bar, where x bar is the distance of the centroid from y axis and y bar is the distance of centroid from x axis. Now if we have to apply those two formulas in order to find its coordinates, then we can say that divide this composite area into two areas or two regular areas, a1 a2. So now we have two regular areas, rectangle 1, rectangle 2. Then what we will do, we will find their individual centroids. So we have found the centroid of the first regular area, and we have located its coordinates from given x-axis and y-axis. Let us say this is x1 and y1. x1 represents the distance of centroid of area 1 from y-axis, and y1 represents the distance of centroid of area 1 from x-axis. Similarly, let us locate the centroid of area 2 and let us say these are its coordinates. Then if I want to find out the centroid of this whole area, means if I want to find out x bar and y bar, which are the coordinates of the centroid of the whole area, then we can use this formula. X bar equal to x1 dot a1 plus x2 dot a2 divided by a1 plus a2. Now over here x1 is the distance of centroid of area 1 from y-axis, and x2 is the distance of centroid of area 2 from y-axis. So we have multiplied their distance from the y-axis by their area, and we have added these two terms for both the areas, and we divided it by the total area, that is a1 plus a2. Similarly, if we want to find the coordinate of centroid of the composite area, that is y bar, we can say it will be equal to y1 dot a1 plus y2 dot a2 divided by a1 plus a2. So over here you can see we have used the distance of area 1, that is distance of centroid of area 1 from x-axis, that is y1. Then we have used y2 as the distance of centroid of area 2 from x-axis, that is y2. So these two formulas will help us to find the centroid of this composite area. Moreover, we can see that over here in the numerator and in the denominator we have used a positive sign, because in order to get this composite area we have to add these two regular areas. Now let us see how we can find the centroid of a wire. Means we have a shape made up of wire and we want to find the centroid of that shape. So same formulas will be applicable to wires as well. Suppose this is the shape made up of wire. So this is a triangular shape, but it is made up of wire. Means in between there is no area, it is hollow. It is made up of 3 wires only. And let us say this is the centroid of this shape, and let us say these are the lengths of 3 wires. L1 is the length of the first wire, L2 is the length of second wire, and L3 is the length of third wire. And let us say these are the two axes assumed by us, and this is the origin of these two axes. Now assume that these are the midpoints of all the wires, which are actually called as centroid of the wires. We know that centroid of a wire will lie at the mid of its length. Now if we want to find the centroid of this particular shape made up of 3 wires, then we can apply this formula. Again, similar formula we have applied in order to find the distance of the centroid of this shape from y-axis, that is x bar. So x bar will be written equal to x1, that is the distance of centroid of wire 1 from y-axis, multiplied by the length of wire 1 plus x2, where x2 is the distance of centroid of wire 2 from y-axis, and multiplied by its length. Similarly, we have multiplied the distance of centroid of wire 3 from y-axis with its length, divided by the total length of all the 3 wires. So from this formula we will get the coordinate of the centroid of this shape, which is x bar, and it's the distance from y-axis. Similarly, if we want to find its coordinate from x-axis, that is y bar, so we can use this formula. So in place of x1 we will use y1, in place of x2 we will use y2, similarly in place of x3 we will use y3, where y1, y2, y3 are the distances of the centroids of the all the 3 wires from x-axis. So these two formulas again will help us to find the coordinates of the centroid of this particular shape. So I hope the introductory lecture on centroids is clear to you. In the next lecture we will talk about the centroids of regular areas. Thank you very much.